gonna get to a point where it's like, kill me.
No! We need to do all the movies.
I can only hear the French
Wow.
horn so many times. Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what did we have a delay in seeing but finally saw separately and now coming together to convene to finally speak about?
Disclosure
Disclosure Day!
Day?
Yes, we are here to disclose our thoughts on Steven Spielberg, the current, what I would probably consider to be the GOAT
Yeah,
of
oh,
directing.
yes, absolutely. That was the easiest thing ever, so
Yes. Yeah, so Spielberg's latest new film starring Emily Blunt,
Mhm.
Coleman Domingo, Colin Firth, Josh O'Connor. I mean, list goes on. Stacked cast. It's a
Yes.
Spielberg film written by David Koepp or Cope. I think Koepp. But yeah, David Koepp, who you don't know, wrote Black Bag, the original Jurassic Park, among many other things. And this movie, you know, going into it, I feel like the marketing was kind of a little bit of a letdown in a lot of areas. How about you, Emery?
Okay, fine. I'm gonna say it, everyone. I thought this looked really bad. Like, terrible from the marketing. I wish we did a video about this or a trailer reaction about this because I kept seeing this trailer and I kept thinking to myself, did Steven Spielberg really direct this movie? Because it did not give that vibe at all. I thought they were going to do something like the Mortal Engine series where they're like, Peter Jackson directed it. Peter Jackson didn't direct it. He just like helped on it. And so I kind of had a feeling, but no, Steven Spielberg did direct it. And then as well with the trailers, you got like the Coca-Cola AI commercial with the deer and the little girl, and I was like, "What is happening?" Basically.
Yeah, it was interesting with how it presented itself, just that very standard run of the mill, like, oh, there's a secret and it's gonna come out and it's Spielberg and it revolves around aliens. So, it just didn't really feel special. It didn't feel like, people are gonna be banging on the doors to get their tickets to buy, or to, sit down and watch
Mm.
Disclosure Day. And, I was like, you know what? I've seen movies before where the trailers aren't all that great,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the movie turns out to be hella good. And here, we get to that last trailer. Well, we get a little more,
Mhm.
but it still was kind of like, you got my curiosity now, but I'm still kind of 50-50 about it.
Yes.
And the way it stands now, this review is probably going to be a little bit 50-50 because we had a
Mm.
chance to speak a little bit about the movie before recording. And Anne-Marie, you and I differ here.
Yeah, Ethan said from the very beginning, I'm so glad we didn't record right after we saw the film because kinda needed time to sit, and the more we thought about it separately, the more you liked it and the more I don't like it, basically, and I feel so bad saying that because it is Steven Spielberg, the GOAT, but I would say this is one of his middle of the road films.
Yeah, see, I think while I don't consider it to be like one of his top films of all time,
No way.
I do consider it to be more on the higher echelon of this scale. It's very, very similar to that of A Close Encounters of the Third Kind with structure and what it sets out to do and what it sets out to be. I think with this one, there's gonna be the audience that has that need for instant gratification. But for those of us that really enjoy movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where it establishes what it is, and by the end of it, it conveys the exact message it sets out to do that the title suggests, it feels like it's more in line with that, and there's gonna be an audience for it, like me and the people I went to go see this movie with. We were all in sync with, like, yeah, this movie was really good, and it didn't go too far. It didn't, say too little, and I honestly think it's deeper than a lot of people let on. I hear a lot of people say it's superficial and just, very run of the mill, and I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah, and that's where we disagree because I kind of felt when we saw these trailers, there was something more. I was like, "Oh, it can't just be about X." But it is kind of just about X. And yes, there is some other stuff in there, especially with Emily Blunt's character and Josh O'Connor's character. And there is things, right? But I don't know. Steven Spielberg, I was waiting for something else. And then as well, everyone knows I love Black Bag is like one of my favorite films from last year. So the writing I thought was going to be something else too. And I felt like it was pretty run of the mill.
Now, that's something that is one of the reasons why I started this review out with the marketing,
Mhm.
because I think the marketing really let people astray, not only in the matter of this is your, typical disclosure day alien reveal kind of thing, but also in the fact that you're gonna see certain things that, disclosure day may imply. You'll see more of the fallout of that. And without giving anything away, the movie kinda doesn't go that that route,
Yeah.
and but it does exactly what the title suggests, not what the marketing suggests, but the title suggests, and what leads into a disclosure day, and what happens on that in that moment of full disclosure of aliens to the world
Mhm.
and how long they've been involved with Earth, like, and it really dives into that, but I feel like people are looking for the fallout of it all
Yeah, and I guess that's
because of the marketing, let me just
yeah,
say that.
and no, and I agree. I think that's kind of where I felt too, because I'm okay with the ending. A lot of people will talk about the ending of this film. I'm okay with that, but I get what you mean. The marketing did lead astray for it. And it's not like I didn't enjoy a lot of this. I think there's a lot of good scenes in here. The camera work, the cinematography is really good at certain points.
A lot of wonders.
Yes, yes. And so I enjoyed parts of it, but even like some things that people are saying this is Emily Blunt's best performance. I don't agree, but there is a scene with her in the newsroom that's super interesting. And so I want to give it credit where it deserves credit, but also I feel like a lot of the things that people are saying is things that just really didn't work for me.
Your take on Emily Blunt's performance, I I just find so bewildering because I thought she was excellent, like, definitely one of her best roles, just the different levels she needs to cover and the range of which she needs to display within a short, quick transition in within seconds. Like, there's a scene in which she needs to speak another language and just like how quickly she transfers in and out of it. Like, there's other scenes where there's emotional distraught and like just transitioning back and forth real quick. And the way that she goes about it is just so captivating and so engaging, and by the time we get to the crescendo of the film, it really just makes it worth it, at least in regards to your performance, makes it all worth it.
Maybe I should restate kind of what I'm saying because it's not let's just say Emily Blunt is a great actress. I totally agree with you. The switching of the voices is insane. The voice control, her action, everything like that. I think it's more of the character because her character is very much a plot device more than a character in my opinion. And so it's pretty basic, and I just didn't think Emily, 1, deserved a character written like that, but also 2, I didn't feel anything giant from her, and so I don't think it's one of her best performances in a way. Again, the cast is amazing, like, we have to say that. Coleman Domingo, good for you, sir, being in another great movie. I feel like my big issue comes down to the writing and the plot of this.
You know what? You bring up something interesting. I've always kind of thought about this, here and there, but the idea of a character being a plot device, I think it's interesting to only view a character as a character that is just set to be someone that channels emotions, and that's kind of all we look for. Just somewhat a vessel to channel our emotions into and kind of be a guide throughout this world. While yes, it can be that, I don't think we should limit a character to solely that. In the cases of Close Encounters, where you have Richard Dreyfuss's character being utilized as a quote plot device, it's and just certain emotional range he needs to display similarly to that of Emily Blunt's character here. I would say that there is that necessity for storytelling of having a character that carries the story in such a way, but, of course, I do get what you mean at times where it feels like the vocabulary term of plot device rather than, like, what a plot device is supposed to do, and I get what you mean by that. That's all subjective, of course, to how one receives it, but to me, I thought they were used, Emily Blunt, primarily, as a well-utilized plot device that also channeled emotional weight and could carry us through this world that Spielberg was taking us through. It's just that I think with a lot of movement from place to place, we automatically fall into that vacuum of and category of, well, this feels like a fetch quest from going place to place. Get that, go do that, go here, do that. But I don't know, I ain't get that same feeling like I did with, say, Mandalorian Grogu, where that truly was a fetch quest by definition. And that felt like I was watching someone in the writing room label certain terminology in the script, you know?
You bring up a good point. Honestly, you're making me think about it a little bit more. So,
Thinking is great.
yes. I will say too, I think a part of this movie, and again, I hate to keep blaming the marketing, but the marketing, I felt this movie really leans into our real worlds and what we have seen, what has been put out, all this stuff. And not like I don't mind stuff being compared to our real world, of course. But it just felt like Steven Spielberg kind of did a Google search of alien close encounters and was in conspiracy theories and he's like, "Yo guys, I have a great idea."
I mean, I wouldn't go to that extent
He
because
got on Reddit.
well, I mean, he's been studying this stuff for, decades now, and also I'm sure that did entail going on Google as well. But like to say that that was solely the case, I think is a little hyperbole,
Yes.
just a wee bit. But
Someone looking at his Google searches. I want to see.
yeah, I'm actually kind of curious about that. What would Steven Spielberg's Google search history look like?
Good actors and actresses to put in my movie.
The true disclosure day.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many other things to appreciate about this movie, which would be John Williams' score.
Oh, well, that's like the best part of the whole film. I'm not kidding you. Like, you put John Williams in any. John Williams is the man.
94 years old and just
He's
going,
94.
yeah,
John Williams, please take care of yourself.
man, and I thought Clint Eastwood was, knocking out of the park with like juror number two and being, what was it, like 96 or something like
He's
that?
94?
Yeah, John Williams, 94.
Please take care of yourself, sir. We need you around for a long time. What?
It's gonna get to a point, it's like, kill me.
No! We need to do all the movies.
I can only hear the French
Wow.
horns so many times.
I just love him, and, like, this is John Williams always kills it. I really don't think there's any movie where I'm like, "Oh, yeah, John Williams phoned it in." Like, this, he kills it.
Yeah, and I think part of it is he really plays into that nostalgic romanticism of film that is magical, but at the same time can be dramatic, can be down to earth, but like bring it to a different plane. He always nails that and makes something that we've never seen before feel nostalgic. And with a movie like this, especially with Spielberg at the helm, there is that automatically implied nostalgia with few scenes here and there, especially with how certain scenes are shot. I got definitely that vibe of, 70s, 80s style filmmaking with this, not only because it was Spielberg, but
Mhm.
because of just the methodology of certain oneers and just how long camera stayed on actors in certain sequences and conversations. It just felt very reminiscent of that era, but almost timeless with how it was brought to this era of how the characters were talking and how they were interacting with each other. And the interesting thing is, with Close Encounters, one of the things about that movie, I know I keep bringing it in another movie to compare, but one of the interesting things about that movie is it was heavily acclaimed for having such a realistic depiction of the Midwest. And here, I feel like he was also trying to capture a similar thing there. I don't think it did it as, you know, well as, say, Close Encounters probably did for that era of what the Midwest was. Here, it just kind of felt more, this is where I will probably use the term
Mhm.
run of the mill in regards to, conveying people in the Midwest or, like southern Northwest, if that makes sense. Like that Kentucky.
Let me pull out a map, hold on.
Well, okay, I'm trying to feel like where's the epicenter of it all, to reference from, but yeah, that Midwest section, so
Yeah. I will say again, I looked at a few other reviews too because I just wanted to see a sense of what people were saying.
Mm.
And I know some reviews are like, this movie's full of plot holes. If you just had a helicopter. And that doesn't really bother me as much in movies. I'm like, it's a movie, get over it, basically. There is stuff like that. I think the thing I came across a lot is the script and everything. And so, but there is some really good stuff, like the Midwest, like the accuracy of that. I also really liked everything in the newsroom, but that's because I like went and studied that. And so that always fascinates me.
speaking of, you bring up the newsroom section, when there is a moment in this movie and there is an news anchor involved, we were talking about the acting, I feel like it would be an absolute disservice to not bring her up. The New York news anchor.
Hmm.
Holy shit, pardon my language. Just her time on screen is very short, but when she's there, like they did not phone in and just say like, "Hey, let's get an extra for this part."
Mm-mm.
Like they really made sure they got a great actress. I need to look up her name because she absolutely killed it. Like this character was not in the movie at all until like this very last
Very.
bit, and all the emotional weight she was able to convey in such a short period of time, I think is worthy of potentially being nominated for an Oscar, if you ask me.
What?
Like I thought it was so well done. Courtney Grace. Oh my gosh, girl.
Get some more work, girl. You got it.
You just killed it. Like, I was so taken aback by your performance and just wow. Again, so short, but so much within such a quick sequence. So, yeah, quick shout out to her. Definitely very curious to see what she does next. And
We gotta look at her like bibliography, see what other stuff she's in.
yeah, like the whole IMDb filmography. Yeah.
Yes.
So before we completely moved away from acting, I just needed to bring her up.
Right. Fair, fair.
Yeah, but yeah, your experience in like true newsrooms, Annmarie, did it feel like truly accurate?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was very accurate, which I was happy about too, because, to me, everyone knows my favorite character is Lois Lane. Journalism is so important. And so I really was glad to see that that was done very tastefully and real too.
Something that you did bring up as well that I will actually really heavily agree with you on one of the faults of the film is the CGI.
I was waiting to talk about this.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I am very apologetic about CG, like mildly bad CGI in movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you have stuff like Masters of the Universe recently. It's not the greatest CGI in the world. Sometimes it can be, but like there's some sequences where it's like, yeah, that looks very cartoonish, but in a movie like that, it works, and I'm more willing to give it, like,
Mhm.
a pass. In this movie, especially if it's trying to capture that magic and same style of Close Encounters, 1977, I watched that movie for the first time recently, and this visual effects still hold up to this day.
Mhm.
It looks incredible. So to see that the same year the original Star Wars came out, I could understand why even the people that weren't the biggest fan of how that ended, they could appreciate like it there was a big payoff in the visual effects
Yeah.
category. And here when you get to certain areas of the mysticism of aliens and, like, how are they in our world, like, and, like, that disclosure and the impact that they have, it just didn't really land with those visual effects that just felt like it was visual effects from a decade ago.
Not all the time too, because some of the stuff there's this clip that has gone out of the alien and the rotation, and I don't think that looks bad. The one that I will keep bringing up that, you know what, I really do try in trailers. I'm like, well, maybe the CGI is not done yet. It's the stupid little girl and a deer walk into a log cabin that looks like the Coca-Cola commercial. I I don't get it.
Well, okay, that one I felt was a little especially within the context of the movie, that one makes more sense
I
because
don't care. It looks so
oh,
bad.
well, I don't think it's supposed to look, like, too real because within the context of that scene, again, without giving anything away, it's, like, Mirage-esque?
Okay, fine. Like, I get it. There's stuff. And to be fair, CGI is so important because it's time and money. And maybe they ran out of time or maybe they ran out of money.
It's Spielberg, I doubt that.
Okay, I'm trying to just give them something here. I, I agree. Like, the CGI was all over the place.
I will say when it came to the animals themselves, with the exception of that one scene that you brought up where, like, the transition between
Yeah.
them and the alien that we see in
Oh,
the trailer with the eye, that was brilliantly done. But when it came to certain moments where you just see, there's one scene in the movie where Josh O'Connor sees a bunch of deer in the
oh yeah.
I'm like, "Those don't look real."
PS2, dear.
There is a fox at one point, like, that doesn't look like a
I
fox.
forgot about the
Like
fuck.
it just none of those moments looked and there's a cardinal as well, I'm like, "You don't have to use real animals per se, but, like, can we do a little better than this?"
Yeah, that was another thing that threw me off too, but it wasn't bad all the time. I just think at certain points I was like, yeah, I can't disband my disbelief for as long as I thought I could. So
Right, and again, that's something that a movie from 1977
yeah.
was able to do so well in Close Encounters. I gotta show you that movie, by the
I
way,
know.
to
I'm
show you
like,
what I
now
mean.
I gotta watch it.
But, yeah, it's just it for those that weren't able to really feel like the story itself was paying off,
Mhm.
they at least had that visual effects, that revolutionary visual effects to fall back on to really capture that mysticism that Spielberg was going for with, like, the, interaction with aliens,
Yeah.
and it just here, it sometimes lands, it sometimes doesn't, but when it doesn't, that makes the times it does land feel less so.
Yeah.
So that's my main gripe with the movie, especially for a Spielberg film. I can't really give that too much of a pass.
I just know Steven can do better.
Yes. I feel like no matter what, maybe with time we'll change our opinions. I mean, it's
Who
film,
knows?
who knows? It's art. We love it, subjectivity. But, I feel like we're definitely just gonna truly differ on this movie
Yes.
is gonna be the writing of it and structure.
Yeah.
And I completely get that. There's gonna be a lot of people that are out there, maybe you guys listening out there that are gonna some of you are gonna see it and you're gonna be like, this movie, it didn't land for me. It was probably one of Spielberg's worst. Like it could have there was no payoff. You're not wrong to think that. I completely understand where you're coming from, but as someone that got something different out of the movie, maybe you're gonna be like me, where it's just, "Hey, this could be Spielberg's one of his better movies." Not his best, but, like, better ones, and you should go out to the theater to see it, and maybe you'll get some a little bit of introspection on humanism in today's world with this type of situation that would occur.
Well, I still want the movie to do well. Like, my theater was pretty packed too. Yours was. Will it carry on to the next several weeks? Who knows? But right now, movie theaters are hot right now. So, you know what? I hope it makes its money back.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's gonna be hard because 'cause I'm not sure word of mouth is gonna be about this movie.
I don't really think it has a rewatchability factor either, but that's just my opinion.
I think there is a little bit, but again, that's for the people that probably already like it. You
Mm.
know, I don't think the people that are kind of like you, where they're more middle of the road with it, they aren't gonna be warranted enough to see it a second time. You know, I probably wouldn't say that as much to say, like, on the same extent as Mandalorian Grogu, where it's like you see it the one time and you're like, "Alright, I got my opinion on this. I don't need to
Yes.
see it again, even if it's Star Wars or not." But
Poor Mando and Grogu. We just dragged it.
yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. And talking about the future of it, Spielberg's next film is gonna be a Western.
Oh, I'm so pumped. I didn't know that, but that got me so excited.
Yeah, so that's gonna be very curious to see how he dips in the back. Because if you've seen The Fablemans, real he's always had a fascination with Westerns, and it's been one of his favorite genres up there with sci-fi for a very long time. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how, he goes about it, today in today's world where Westerns are kind of on their deathbed.
Yeah, oh man, that made me so excited. Like, I can't wait.
Alright, Emery, but at the end of the day, we gotta rate this thing.
I'm ready.
All right, so out of 10 stags with cardinals hanging around its little staggy horns,
Are they good
antlers, not horns, antlers,
are they good stags or bad stags?
well rendered CGI
Okay,
stags,
I appreciate it.
how many would you give this disclosure day out of 10?
You know what? I really found this movie, the more I thought about it, to be middle of the road. So I'm going to give it a middle of the road number. I'm going to say 7.5. Again, there was parts that I did enjoy. The newsroom element, the camera work, the score. Shout out John Williams. Please keep yourself healthy. But overall, I just don't think this movie will carry on for me. When I think of Steven Spielberg, I'm not gonna think about this. I'm gonna think about The Fablemans. I'm gonna think about Jurassic Park. I'm gonna think about maybe 5 more movies before I think about this movie. And it's unfortunate because maybe in an alternative reality, if this didn't have Steven Spielberg's name attached to it, maybe I'd be like, "Oh, like, this was different for a new director." I think having his name, I just expect great things from him, and this unfortunately just did not hit the mark for me. But you know what? You enjoyed it. I know a lot of people enjoyed it. Think it's sitting at, like, a 80 on Rotten Tomatoes. Great, have fun. This just didn't do anything for me.
You know, I gotta give it an 8 out of 10. And I think the critic score is pretty right there. Now, if the CGI was actually genuinely really good for those moments in the movie, I really feel like it might be more 9, 10. We're talking, but again, we're talking Spielberg, who's revolutionized, like, sci-fi technology. We're talking about the man that did Close Encounters, that did E.T., that did, like, all these revolutionary films, and when he's bringing one that is trying to like, is the whole basis of it is channeling what came before to create something new in a modern world. It just really was a disservice in that regard. But every other aspect of this film I thought was brilliant and great. I view as deeper than a lot than superficially, which is a difference to what many other people are thinking. But it's just I don't know. This movie hit me in a different way than those people. But for my audience, there was a great thunderous applause. So I'm not the only one out there, obviously. And, we'll have to see how it does at the box office. But I gotta give it at the end of the day an 8 out of 10. I might see it again. We'll have to see. But I don't know. It's definitely one that I would say don't trust someone's out of theater reaction for. Just go off of their full review after it sits with them for a bit.
Maybe we'll get a director's cut where they render the deer better.
That would be great. This would be the one case where I'm like, "Hey, Lucas, Spielberg, whoever's in charge of it, go back to your film and buff up the CGI a bit."
I would love it.
Like, this is the one. Maybe there's some other cases I can't think of right now, but this is probably one of the few minimal cases that I would give you a pass on that.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. So Disclosure Day, Spielberg's latest film in theaters. Have you had a chance to see it? What do you think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? There's many people on both sides of the aisle there, but we want to hear your takes. So definitely let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And with that, Amory, I think that about does it for us.
Let's wrap it.
All right, guys. So thank you again for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that classic YouTube vernacular. Also, don't forget to check us out on Spotify because, hey, say YouTube ain't your thing and you want to get it when you're on the run or in the gym or something like that. Boom, bada bing. You got it on Spotify there for your nice little audio senses.
Boppity
The
boopity.
babada boopity. Where'd the Italian come from there?
I'm Italian.
Oh, okay, so it's okay. Uh, but guys, we hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast. Where you ever haven't, please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And aliens.
They're among us.